Okay, so what's good, YouTube? I'm back. I wanted to make a pretty decent length video about this upcoming game that I'm really looking forward to, called Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 10, the sequel to Mortal Kombat 9, which came out in 2011. I've been waiting for a next-gen Mortal Kombat for a very long time, and it's finally here. It's only a few months away now, coming out in April, and very recently they made a big announcement about some new modes that they were going to be having in the new Mortal Kombat game. One of them being the factions, or the faction mode, if you want to call it that. So at the beginning of the game, you will choose a faction basically. And as far as we know right now, from what we've seen, there are only 5 factions. You have the Lin Kuei, which is led by Sub-Zero. You have or at least represented by Sub-Zero. You have the Black Dragon, which is led by Kano, as it's always been led by Kano. You have the White Lotus Society, led by Raiden, which the White Lotus Society was founded by Raiden, so that only makes sense. You have the Special Forces faction, which seems to be led by Sonya Blade, who is now known as Colonel Sonya Blade, if you've been reading the comics, the prequel comics that I'll be referring to at different times during this video. So she's ranked up from where she used to be back in the old games, because you do know that Mortal Kombat 10 takes place, I think 25 years after the end of Mortal Kombat 9. So like her and Johnny Cage have like a kid and everything. But you know, I'll get to that in a second. And then you have the last faction, sorry, which is led by Quan Chi, the Brotherhood of Shadow, the Dark Quan Chi. So I already know that I'm gonna be joining up with the White Lotus Society simply because Raiden is my favorite Mortal Kombat character. How do you not like the God of Thunder? And I also think that it's probably likely that Kung Lao and Liu Kang, Liu Kang hasn't been confirmed yet, but I have a funny feeling he's going to be in this game. There have been tons of Mortal Kombat games, tons of installments, and Liu Kang has only missed one of them, and that was Deadly Alliance, because we all know he was killed at the beginning of that. But it didn't take them long to resurrect him, and he's been in every Mortal Kombat since then. So I find it very hard to believe that he's not going to be in this next-gen Mortal Kombat game. And that leads me into the next thing I want to talk about, which involves the number of playable characters. Now, if you watch some of the videos of Mortal Kombat X that have come out so far, like the different reveal videos, like, you know, revealing Reptile or revealing Ermac, revealing Kotal Khan and things like that. If you look at the number of boxes, when they show the character select screen, if you look at the number of boxes, that's clearly not the only number of fighters that will be in this game. And I've read something that said Ed Boon, the sort of the lead creator of, the originator of the Mortal Kombat franchise. I'm not sure what his official title is, but he's the top guy, at Netherrealm Studios, I believe. He says that there's going to be around 30 something characters. So we haven't really been given an exact number yet. I've looked around all over the place. If I've missed it, somebody write in the comment section that GJ Chill, you're wrong. This is the number of characters that will be in Mortal Kombat X, definitely, but I just didn't see it. And so I'm reading 30 something, 30-ish. So I'm just going to settle for the purposes of this video. I'm just going to settle on 30, because I believe that now that we know that there's specific factions in Mortal Kombat X, and we know that at the beginning of the game, you will choose a faction, and every time you play, everything you do in Mortal Kombat 10 is going to go to, you know, faction points that everybody, the entire globe, everyone that's playing Mortal Kombat will take part in. And I guess, you know, at the end of the week or the end of the month, whenever they decide to do it, whichever faction has more points accrued from everybody, you know, you get, you know, certain benefits, certain, you know, this is stuff they haven't really revealed yet. Maybe certain maps, well, at least I'm calling them maps. I'm still on Battlefield Hardline mode. But, you know, and it seems kind of strange. Okay, so let's say if I choose to go with the White Lotus Society, but I'm playing with Quan Chi, who wouldn't be part of the White Lotus Society faction. That doesn't really seem to make a whole lot of sense. So I think that you're going to have certain characters, and mind you, this is all speculation, pure speculation. None of this has been confirmed. So I'm just putting that out there, you know, first. I think that you're going to have certain characters that will be associated with certain factions. Not to say that they're going to be members per se of that faction, but they're just going to be associated with it. And that makes a little bit more sense. And I think from the characters they've revealed so far, you can kind of start placing certain characters into certain factions. So, looking at the Brotherhood of Shadow, we'll start with the Brotherhood. Quan Chi has been revealed, obviously. And strangely enough, he's the only Mortal Kombat 4 character that's been revealed so far. At least he's the only character that was revealed in Mortal Kombat 4 or later. So including Deadly Alliance and Deception and Armageddon. He's the only character from those later games that's been revealed for Mortal Kombat 10. All of the characters that have been revealed thus far have been from the first 3 Mortal Kombats, and that includes the various, you know, variations of Mortal Kombat 3. So, you know, you had Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 and the Mortal Kombat Trilogy. All of the characters revealed so far are from those first 3 iterations of Mortal Kombat. So, you know, they've only shown the most old school Mortal Kombat characters. It's not to say that later characters won't be in the game. I think Quan Chi, not Quan Chi. I think Kenshi may be in the game, but we have to wait and see for that. So, the Brotherhood of Shadow, I think, is going to include Quan Chi, Kotal Khan, and I wrote this before I started reading the comic, by the way. And based on what I'm reading in the comic, I'm not sure if Kotal Khan is in the Brotherhood of Shadow now. But again, for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to continue. I'm going to read what I have written down here. And I wrote this, like I said last night, before I read the comics. So you have Quan Chi, Kotal Khan, Ermac. Now, Ermac has never really been allied with the heroes. He's always sort of been a henchman. He was at one point in time working with Shao Kahn, as was Reptile. And I think Reptile is also, going to be part of this, not an official member of the Brotherhood of Shadow, but again, Reptile, like Ermac, these are characters that have always been associated with the villains of the Mortal Kombat universe. So I was thinking that, okay, well, Kotal Khan seems like he's the son of Shao Kahn, and he's also the Emperor, which has been revealed in the comics. And so unless it's been revealed before and I just didn't read it. So I'm thinking if Kotal Khan, wherever Kotal Khan is, I'm sure Reptile will be right behind him. But we're going to have to wait and see. And then the last spot, so that's 4. That leaves us one more spot. And I don't know, I personally would like to see Noob Saibot. I would like to see him return. Possibly Shang Tsung, but we don't know if his death, because you have to remember at the end of Mortal Kombat 9, he was supposedly killed by Kenshi. So we don't know if that's going to hold up or not, or if they're going to find some way to bring Shang Tsung back. I do think that Shao Kahn is dead. I don't think he's coming back. And even one of the videos that's been released, I think it was the Reptile video, you see, who was it? You see one of the characters fighting Reptile. I want to say it was Sub-Zero, either Sub-Zero or Scorpion, saying something like, Shao Kahn is gone. You don't need to, basically seemed like he was saying you don't need to do this or so whatever. So I think Shao Kahn is dead. I think he's gone. I think, we're done with him. But we do know that Goro is in this. Speaking of Goro, he's considered a bonus character, so I haven't really worked him into any of these breakdowns because I don't really know, given that he's a bonus character, I don't know if he's going to be technically part of a faction. So we're going to have to wait and see. So then you have the White Lotus Society. Oh, hold on. Before I go to the White Lotus, if it's not Noob Saibot and if it's not Shang Tsung, could it possibly be Shinnok or Queen Sindel? Now, these are probably the most unpopular choices for returning characters for the simple fact that neither of them are all that popular. Shinnok is actually, some people consider him to be one of the worst characters. I think he gets a bad rap, but he's only been in like 2 Mortal Kombat games. If I remember correctly, he was at the end of Mortal Kombat 9. He kind of comes out and makes this appearance, but you can't play as him. So we're going to have to wait and see what his role will be in Mortal Kombat 10. I do think he's going to make an appearance. I don't think he's dead, but what his role is going to be, whether or not he's going to be playable or not, remains to be seen. And Sindel, like, again, she's not a character that's needed. So I think that this 3rd spot or this 5th spot rather, could be reserved for a new character. And I do think Mortal Kombat 10 or Mortal Kombat X, however you want to say it, is going to feature a ton of new characters. I don't think, they're bringing everybody back. They're definitely killing off some people. So, and then I have 5 characters written here on this little index card I'm reading from, but since I said that at the beginning of this video, I said that there's going to be possibly 30, you're possibly looking at 6 characters, not 5, but 6 characters per faction. So that leaves room for potentially Noob Saibot and then maybe another new character. I'm really pumping Noob Saibot. He's outside of Raiden, he's probably my favorite ninja. So on to the White Lotus Society. You have Raiden, who has been revealed. You have Kung Lao and Katana, both who have been revealed. And then you have, so that's 3. So you have potentially 2 or 3 more spots for either returning characters or new characters. As I said already at the beginning of the video, I definitely think Liu Kang is returning. I definitely think he's going to be in this game. And if he's a part of any faction, he's going to be part of the White Lotus Society. He was already a member at one point in time. So, what other faction would he be associated with? And I'm happy about that because I like Liu Kang. A lot of people don't like him. I like Liu Kang. He's a favorite of mine, on top of Noob Saibot and Raiden. So then, who else could we see, though, as part of the White Lotus Society faction? So I said earlier that Quan Chi is the only character from Mortal Kombat 4 or later that's been revealed so far. It's possible we could see Kai, Fujin, both who were revealed in Mortal Kombat 4, but didn't really get a whole lot of love in future Mortal Kombat games. Or maybe even Nightwolf. Now, Nightwolf has never been officially part of the White Lotus Society, but again, if he is in Mortal Kombat X, and you have to put him in a faction, you wouldn't put him in the Lin Kuei, you wouldn't put him in the Special Forces, definitely not the Brotherhood of Shadow or the Black Dragon, so the White Lotus makes too much sense for him. Now, Kai and Fujin, I think, are underrated characters. I would like to see both of them in Mortal Kombat X. Change Kai around a little. Don't make him so much like Liu Kang. Give him, some abilities and some specialties that will really set him apart. Or maybe even Fujin. Fujin has been shown. I think he was in Mortal Kombat 9, but you couldn't play as him, if I'm not mistaken. And then I think, Kai made an appearance as well, I believe. So, if neither of those characters, not Kai, Fujin, or Nightwolf. Now, Nightwolf supposedly died at the end of Mortal Kombat 9, but so did a lot of these characters, and they're back now. So we're going to have to wait and see how they sort that out. But if neither of them are in it, I could definitely see a new character of some sort. Of course, who that new character would be, we don't know. So yeah, that's the White Lotus Society. That's GJ Chill's faction. That's going to be my faction, hands down, without a shadow of a doubt. If I didn't choose the White Lotus Society, I would choose this faction, and it would be the Lin Kuei. This is the faction we know that, well, from the characters that have been revealed, you know, they have the least sort of members in them so far. And what I mean by that is, you have Sub-Zero, obviously, who has been revealed. And believe it or not, I am putting Scorpion in the Lin Kuei faction. Now, hold your horses. Before people go crazy and say Scorpion would never join the Lin Kuei, I know this. He has his own clan, the Shirai Ryu or Sharia Ryu, whatever you call it. I'm probably butchering the name. And we know from the comics that he has actually reformed this clan, which is actually something that happened at the end of Mortal Kombat 9. It was one of the endings at the end of that. And also one of the endings at the end of Mortal Kombat 9 had Scorpion and Sub-Zero teaming up and forming a new deadly alliance. Now, I don't know if the whole deadly alliance thing between Scorpion and Sub-Zero is going to stand or if that's going to be changed around, but I do think that Scorpion realizes and he understands that Sub-Zero did not kill his family, which is something, you know, if you've been, you know, following Mortal Kombat long enough, you know that he's always been chasing down Sub-Zero because he thought that he had something to do with killing his family. He knows that he was tricked by Quan Chi and he was being played by Quan Chi the whole time. So I think that right here we have a situation where you're going to have, you know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend sort of situation. So I do see Scorpion sort of making an alliance, a loose alliance for the time being with Sub-Zero. And so because everyone knows Scorpion is kind of a lone wolf. He does his own thing. He doesn't ally himself with anybody. I mean, he was being controlled by Quan Chi at one point in time, but he was never really technically part of the Brotherhood of Shadow. But, you know, I could be getting my lore mixed up there. So, but in this case, I do put him I do put Scorpion within the Lin Kuei. Not as an official member, but just as part of an alliance, a temporary alliance. Now, for the 3 or 4 remaining spots, Netherrealm Studios could go in really any direction here. They could bring back Smoke, who is a fairly popular character. They could bring back Cyrax or Sector, both of whom were in the Lin Kuei and came under that automation. You know, they were forced to go through automation. Well, Cyrax tried to avoid it. Sector was down for it for whatever reason, but Cyrax tried to get away and I guess he failed. So I definitely think one of those 3 will be in Mortal Kombat X. Either Smoke, Cyrax, or Sector will definitely be in it, and they're definitely going to be part of the Lin Kuei. Now, could you possibly see Frost though? Frost was, I think Frost came out in Deadly Alliance, I believe. I think she was a Deadly Alliance character, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have the character list right in front of me, but I believe she came out. I believe they made her in Deadly Alliance. And she made an appearance, or at least she has made an appearance in the prequel comics. And you guys, I keep mentioning those comics. They're 99 cents on Amazon. There's 5 of them so far. I believe they're weekly comics, so they come out weekly. You guys should definitely read them. They're very good, I think. And so Frost has been shown, and I think she was revealed in issue 4 and 5. So we're going to have to see where they take her character. Just because she's in the comics doesn't mean, it just means that she's not dead. It doesn't mean she's going to be in the game. But if Frost is in the game, she would be part of the Lin Kuei as well. But then too, we could be seeing a new ninja. You know, we don't know. It remains to be seen. There's this character in the comic named Takada. And Takada is actually the son of Kenshi. It's like Kenshi's long lost son. I have a funny feeling he's going to be in the game. So he could be that new character. Takada could be the new ninja who is part of the Lin Kuei. We're going to have to wait and see. So I've done the Brotherhood of Shadow, the Lin Kuei, the White Lotus Society. So now let's move to the Special Forces. The Special Forces, I think, is going to include Cassie Cage, who has been revealed. Sonya Blade and Jax haven't been revealed yet, but they're almost certainly in the game. There have been some images that I've seen floating around online where some people say they think they've seen Jax in sort of the living tower that's been revealed. You see this guy sort of putting his hands up like in a boxing motion, or, you know, and it looks like he has metal arms. So that's definitely, if Jax and Sonya are both alive, so if they're alive and they're original characters from, I think Jax came out in Mortal Kombat, he was made for Mortal Kombat 2. Sonya was one of the originals. If they're alive, they're in the game. So I definitely think Sonya and Jax are in it, and they're going to be part of the Special Forces. Cassie Cage, of course, is Sonya and Johnny Cage's daughter. Johnny Cage, if you've been reading the comics, spoiler alert, Johnny Cage is alive. And once again, you're talking about another original character. If Johnny Cage is alive, I find it very hard to believe he's not going to be in Mortal Kombat X. It would be kind of surprising if he's not. So then we have another spot for a new character here. And I'm going with Jackie Briggs. Something that has been revealed in the comics is that Jax too has a daughter named Jackie. And Jackie Briggs and Cassie Cage are like best friends. Sort of like how, you know, Jax and Sonya Blade are best friends. So that only makes sense. So if Cassie's in it, I'm thinking Jackie Briggs is probably in it too. Which is cool. Which is going to be very cool. So that's sort of 5 characters so far for the Special Forces. And if there's one more space, if there's 6 characters per faction, like I think, that leaves room for one more character. The only character from previous Mortal Kombat games that hasn't been revealed yet that would fit in the Special Forces is Curtis Stryker. Now, Stryker, I don't know, like, I've never cared for him. He's like one of my least favorite characters. Not because I have anything against him, but just because like he had a gun, like, and if I wanted to troll whoever I was playing against, I would just, you know, use Stryker so I could shoot him. But yeah, outside of Stryker being in the game, which I'm thinking he might not be, this is probably going to be a spot for a new character, which of course hasn't been revealed yet. So the final group that I want to talk about before this video is over is the Black Dragon. The Black Dragon will include Kano, who has already been revealed. And in this write-up that I have, again, I said I started writing this before I read the comics. I had Devora and Farah and Tor in the Black Dragon. I now know from the comics that Devora is actually Kotal Khan's henchwoman. So Devora is an associate of Kotal Khan. And I put Kotal Khan in the Brotherhood of Shadow. So my list is kind of jacked up, but I mean, I could put Devora in the Brotherhood of Shadow. I don't want to because that leaves, that doesn't leave space for, Noob Saibot. unless he's just not in the game, and I'll be disappointed. But yeah, or possibly Kotal Khan is not going to be in the Brotherhood of Shadow faction. We have yet to see. All of this is speculation. And Farah and Tor, we don't know anything about them. So I just put them in the Black Dragon arbitrarily. But there aren't really any characters that have been revealed that really fit into the Black Dragon faction outside of Kano. And so that's why I put Devora and Farah and Tor in here, just to because I didn't know anything about their backstory, so I didn't know where else to put them. But now I want to take Devora out of the Black Dragon, unless she's, for whatever reason, leaves Kotal Khan at some point in time in the comics and defects to the Black Dragon. We don't know yet. So in the comics, it's shown that Jarek here is another Mortal Kombat 4 character, and Tasia, who was actually in Mortal Kombat Special Forces, which I never played, but she is a Black Dragon member. And I don't think she's ever been in a playable character in a Mortal Kombat game before. We see them running after Cassie Cage and Jackie Briggs. So it's possible, again, just because they're in a comic doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be in the game. But it's possible that Jarek and Tasia will be part of the Black Dragon and will be revealed as playable characters in Mortal Kombat X. That has yet to be revealed, though. But outside of those two, and outside of, whether or not Farah and Tor will be part of the Black Dragon or not, or Devora, which probably isn't going to, that's probably not going to be accurate. Outside of them, the only other person I can think of who would fit with the Black Dragon and who has a history of being in the Black Dragon and who was given all of his, superior armor and hooks and everything from Kano himself, as revealed in Mortal Kombat 9, is Kabal. Kabal has not been revealed yet, but he is a fairly popular character. Kabal isn't, a top 10 popular character or anything like that, but he's sort of like he has middle of the pack popularity, so I could see him making the cut in Mortal Kombat X. And if he does, he would almost certainly be part of the Black Dragon, even though he kind of seemed like in Mortal Kombat 9, he was beefing with him a little bit. They could easily bring him back, because he was originally a member of the Black Dragon. So that's all I wanted to say about the factions. I think it sounds like this is like a dream come true in terms of Mortal Kombat. And I think this whole faction mode is going to be awesome. I'm really crossing my fingers in hoping that the factions are not arbitrary, and you don't just say, I'm part of this faction, but I'm going to play with characters who wouldn't be in that faction. I'm hoping that we need to wait for more information, but I'm hoping they have something set up where, like I've been saying throughout this video, certain characters are associated with certain factions. And maybe if you want to play with somebody who's not in that faction, maybe you just won't get points. If you want to get points to go towards your faction, you need to play with certain characters. So I'm not saying I want people to only play with characters in their faction and you can never play with, of course, there are going to be times I want to play with Kotal Khan. There's going to be times I may want to play with Scorpion or Sub-Zero or Ermac, so of course, they can't force you to only play with 5 or 6 characters, however many will be associated with each faction. But if you want your faction to get points, you have to play with certain characters. If you want to be in the White Lotus Society and you want the White Lotus Society to get points for, the week or the month or whenever they have these different things going on, these different competitions going on online, you have to play with Raiden, Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Katana, or one of the other White Lotus Society members. I think that's how they're going to do it. I don't know that, though. I'm hoping that's how they do it. So that's it for today. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Write a comment in the comment section to tell me if you think I got these lineups for these different factions right, or if you think the whole idea of having certain characters being in certain factions is stupid. Maybe you don't like it. Write that too. And you'll be seeing more videos soon. Thanks.